Scott Satterfield and Brendan Sorsby, they got their signature ball game.
You are Locked On Bearcats, your daily podcast on the Cincinnati Bearcats, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Bearcats. My name is Jeff Carr, and I'm all Cincinnati all the time. I've worked in multiple university athletic departments, and I've been a football season ticket holder for 7 years now. Locked On Bearcats is part of the Locked On Podcast Network. We are your team, your Bearcats, every single day. And on today's podcast, Chad Brendel is back with me again, and we'll be celebrating the performance that the offense had to begin today's show. We'll dive into the many questions surrounding the defense in just a few minutes, and we'll finish up with a look ahead at Iowa State and what the Bearcats can do to begin 2-0 in Big 12 conference play. That's all coming up on today's episode that is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. Download FanDuel today. And joining us today, as he will, as much as he can stand me, is the man in charge of the best corner of the internet for UC fans. That is Chad Brendel. Chad, what you got for me, man?
Living the dream, Jeff. Living the dream. It's these weeks are a lot easier after wins. There was no "I'm mad" tweet at Chad on Saturday. Maybe like the first 3 minutes of the game, there was some "I'm mad" tweet at Chad. But after that, what a fun game to watch, and even more fun when you play a game like that. And Texas Tech was really fun last year, but then Texas Tech won. And it wasn't as fun. So you go on the road, you get a big win in the Big 12, and things are all of a sudden looking up, Jeff. We know a little bit more about this team. Feel a little bit better.
Just a little bit more, and I'm with you. I feel better because it feels like they answered so many questions. I mean, Kansas did the thing that we didn't want them to do, and that was lots of explosive plays. And then, oh, by the way, we had a number of flags on Bearcats offense and scoring that we didn't like. So they were able to answer all of that and still come away with the win. So in your mind, let's start this way. Who had the better day, Brendan Sorsby or Scott Satterfield?
Scott Satterfield. And Brendan Sorsby had a great day. But Scott Satterfield had to answer to this fan base that this was possible this year, that they were going to be a team that did not find a way to lose. They were going to be a team that found a way to win. And we finally saw the proof of concept is how Keegan put it, I think, in his Keegan Nickerson, my beat writer. I think that's how he phrased it in his article on Saturday. The proof of concept is finally there. That this can work, and this is how it works. And that, like you mentioned, there were plenty of times where they could have folded. They could have just said, we played a great game. We kept it close. We did what we had to do, but it wasn't enough. We'll get them next week. And they didn't do that. And they kept battling. They make, the big play on defense. That was the only big play of the day on defense. And then Brendan Sorsby comes right down the field after Kansas scores, minute 45 left, and boom, straight down the field to answer. And there was even adversity on that drive. And Cincinnati didn't let it trip them up like they have been the past 2 years.
That drive was beautiful, if nothing for the fact that they had that wonderful draw play call that everyone on Kansas' side of the ball was like, they did what? They ran the ball? Wait, why does Joey Walker have the ball? We're covering the receivers. And that worked out perfectly for them. So I'm with you. And I felt like there was so much balance. There was a ton of great play calling. There's only like one drive, and I think it was like in the first quarter, where it seemed like they were far too conservative. I think it was the second drive of the game where it was like run, punt. And
that was right. It was right before halftime. Second drive of the game was the two going for fourth down. 4th and 2 from your own 33-yard line.
Love that. 3 of 3 on fourth down conversion attempts. That was great.
That was like right away. Oh, we're doing that today. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Then buckle up because it's going to be a fun one. But yeah, it was the second to last drive of the first half. They ran 3 times and punted. And I don't know if that was, we look at that in a bubble that could have been alignment. It could have been Kansas was backing off, trying to slow down Cincinnati's passing game. And
they called multiple plays and Sorsby picked the one that he saw or something like that. Yeah. No, that makes sense. And honestly, that was the only tiny complaint that I had. I thought Scott Satterfield called a beautiful game otherwise. And that's definitely for me a huge part. I was critical of him before the game too. And I think everybody was. I think everybody's looking at Scott Satterfield like, who is this guy? And now we feel better about it. But also on the Sorsby side of things, I was talking to somebody on Sunday after the win, and they're just like, boy, whoever it was they had a quarterback last year wasn't all that great, but the guy they got now is pretty good. And I'm like, yeah, they're the same guy.
Well, but he was this guy at times last year. He just wasn't consistently this guy. So that's now the next thing, is that he's got to be this guy every Saturday. Right. It can't be, he has been very much a rhythm quarterback. When he has gotten into rhythm, he can get hot. When he has not gotten into rhythm, you can get games like Nebraska, and we're going to get into it. Games like Iowa State last year, where he threw for 60 yards or whatever it was. So he's got to get over that. But boy, when he's got it cooking, he's got it cooking.
Are we? And I love it's obvious that those two guys were the stars of this game, but has the offensive line gotten good enough that we're just now complacent with how good they are? Because it feels like they deserve a ton of credit for this game as well. I know they gave up their first sack of the season, but even still, most of this game looked like they were just really on top of things.
Yeah, I would disagree slightly, because I thought Kansas gave them some trouble with the number of stunts and games that they ran. I thought it affected Cincinnati, and you saw Sorsby moving a little more than you had seen him this year. But if you're complaining about the offensive line in a game where they gained 600 yards and only gave up one sack, that was the first time since November of last year Kansas has not had at least 2 sacks in a game. They are super, super aggressive at the line of scrimmage, stunting, running games with their defensive line, and blitzing linebackers. So it wasn't a perfect game from the offensive line. They have had better games, but they did enough. Right. And Sorsby is really good at feeling the pocket, feeling where the pressure's coming from. Even on that last drive, I was watching it back earlier today. There were 3 plays where Kansas got through, and he was able to get the ball, get it out of bounds, make the right play with the ball and not force things, live to the next snap. Where last year, he did force the one, and they dropped it.
Thankfully.
That would have ended the game. Yeah. But for the most part, he was taking what was there, even though Kansas defense was giving them some issues up front. But that's not to say the line played bad.
Right.
It's just they had problems with a team that gives everybody problems. That happens.
It happens. And I think it all kind of comes together. I mean, you mentioned the 600 yards, the way that everybody kind of played on the offensive side of the ball. They did the other thing that we said they really needed to do that they hadn't done yet, and that was they controlled the clock. That for me was a very underrated positive that I draw from this game, because it's okay, we know that they can do that now.
Yeah, that was, it wasn't by design. We talked about this last week. It wasn't by design that they were getting their butt kicked in time of possession.
Right.
It's that they were letting other teams control the ball, and they were having too many 3 and outs, too many quick series, that all of a sudden the other team's got the ball for 9 minutes and a quarter, and you've got it for 6. And when that extrapolates over 4 quarters, it looks terrible. Well, guess what? They stayed on the field. They converted 3rd downs. They converted 4th downs. And it was helped some by Kansas having 2 one-play touchdown drives. Right. That tends to skew the numbers a little bit. But it wasn't by design that they were getting killed in time of possession. It was by what was happening on the field, and it wasn't good enough. And that's why Cincinnati was upside down in those numbers on Saturday. Much better job running the ball, much better job taking what Kansas defense gave them, and it allowed them to move the chains and keep control of the clock.
Yeah, anytime you can get double-digit combined third and fourth down conversions, man, you're doing something right. And this offense was all right. But the win was not all cotton candy and skyline because the defense, it made us cringe, like a lot. We'll get into that next. Caffeine just got a flavor upgrade. 5-hour energy shots deliver tasty caffeine in 17 bold flavors. Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. What I love most is how portable they are. I mean, big taste in a tiny shot. You can take it anywhere and get that boost that you need. They've got a lot of great flavors. And here recently, we talked a lot about the transfusion flavored 5-hour energy. That is awesome. That's been my go-to throughout, red season, throughout, as the Bearcats get going, plenty of different ways to keep you going in a tasty way and give you 0 sugar and 0 crashes. Enough with a boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-hour energy shots. Get the favorites that you love or be bold and try something new in-store and online at www.5hourenergy.com or on Amazon today. Thank you for making Locked On Bearcats part of your day. I invite you to make it part of your everyday routine. Hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, comment, all that great stuff. Help us reach other Bearcat fans in the community. And we are free and available on all platforms, so also check us out on your favorite audio app as well. All right, chat, so we love everything that the offense did on Saturday. Didn't love everything that the defense did because, quite frankly, for everything that the Bearcats offense did, it was because they were answering stuff that Kansas did. We said, limit the explosive plays. We said, do this, do that. They didn't do any of that. And I kind of think that we have to start, with our concerns with the defensive backfield.
Yeah, I don't know how much it's defensive backfield. I don't know how much it's scheme. I mean, they are playing off. And they are giving space. And look, here's the big problem from Saturday, ultimately, Jeff. You can't play bend but don't break and then give up a 93 and a 74-yard touchdown play.
Right.
Like that.
And
that's
the
opposite. That's break.
Yeah.
There was no bend. That was just like a pencil.
If you bend and you break, then that's really not good.
But they didn't even bend. They just broke. Like there was that wasn't a long drive that they converted on. That was just an instant crack. Break. Oh, well, I guess back to the drawing board. So you can't have that happen. They are designed to make teams take these long, sustained drives where they have to continue to convert third downs and move methodically down the field.
Right.
2 long touchdowns changes the entire course of that game if Cincinnati plays better defense. But it's interesting because I'm not sure exactly where to place the blame. I do think some of it is they're not aggressive enough. I think they're sitting back and they're letting the opposing offense dictate the pace of the discourse. So I don't know how you change that in the middle of a season because the design of the defense is the design of the defense. But maybe you bring your corners up a little bit more. Instead of 7 yards off, they're 4 or 5 yards off. Because there's guys catching balls just open. And some of that is Kansas offense. There is a lot of eye candy with Kansas offense.
I was going to ask you about that because they had so much motion in there. And I know Scott Satterfield talked about, they got eye discipline was a huge thing. And there was definitely some plays where they didn't have eye discipline. They were looking at the wrong thing. And even Dan Horde mentioned on the broadcast, he's just like, I was looking at the wrong thing. And then all of a sudden, Kansas did something else.
Well, there was at least 3 plays where Kansas uses motion. They run 2 guys at the same spot after the snap. And then they separate. And the defense went both with 1 guy, leaving the second guy wide open. You saw it on one of the touchdowns. They motioned the tight end. The wide receiver, the tight end goes right out to the wide receiver. The ball snaps. Both guys go with the tight end. The wide receiver runs to the back of the end zone. And you and I could have caught that touchdown pass.
Right.
So
probably thrown it too.
Probably. So, some of that was Kansas related. And I mean, that was the first question I asked Scott Satterfield last week was about eye discipline, because knowing this Kansas offense, that's when they do it over and over and over again, you are occasionally going to get fooled by it. And Kansas, Jalen Daniels did a great job every time Cincinnati lost eye discipline. Every time Cincinnati let somebody run free, it felt like Jalen Daniels hit him.
Found him
like
every
he
time.
had a six-year starter. He had really good control of that offense. He put guys in position to make big plays and keep the ball moving down the field. But that's not an excuse for as bad. I mean, you know, 603 yards for Cincinnati, awesome. 597 yards for Kansas.
Barely beat them in the total yard
mean,
department. Yeah. It just seems like the defensive backs, the way they cover, it's like, all right, we got you if you want to throw the ball between 10 and 15 yards. But if you want to throw longer than that, if you want to throw shorter than that, and that's kind of rough. It's like no doubles at all, but you can hit singles and homers.
The homers aren't – that was a one-game specific thing that – especially those two touchdowns. The first play of the game was eye discipline times 1,000.
He was way better. Yeah.
Well, he gets his eyes in the backfield and buys the play fake. And he takes 2 steps towards the play fake, and they got the fastest guy on the field. It's running right by his ear hole. And then he tries to turn around, slips. He can never recover. The other one, I almost don't fault. Who the heck was that?
Was it Saints?
No, it was 10. It was Taden Barnes. So Taden Barnes is coming down and shadowing Henderson as he runs across the middle of the field. And Jalen Daniels threw it behind him.
Right.
And Barnes thinks, I've got a chance to make a pick because this is a bad throw. So he stops and reverses, making a play on where he thinks the ball is going to go. Henderson snatches it, pirouettes, and Barnes has no chance to recover.
Right.
I can't fault Barnes entirely there, as bad as this defense has been creating turnovers. He was trying to make a play on the ball, but their guy made the play before you. And now you're facing, your momentum's going that way, and his momentum's going to the house.
And it's over. Yeah, you're not catching.
Those were the 2 big plays that they have to get fixed, but I don't think it's systemic. I think the problem is the free release, and they're just giving guys 6, 7, 8 yard completions wherever they want them. And a patient veteran quarterback, which is what most of this league is this year, is just going to pick you apart. If you've got 2 free release spots, if the slot guy and the field receiver are getting free release and aren't getting coverage, we'll take those 7 yards. And then we'll take them again. And then we'll take them again. And that puts you in a lot. Well, one, it puts you in a lot of 3rd and short, which is much easier to convert than 3rd and 7. If you got 3rd and 2, it's a whole different ball game on the odds. So I thought we might see something a little different. We did on 1 3rd down early in the game. They played man.
Mm-hmm.
And I okay, maybe we're seeing a little philosophical change, especially maybe on 3rd down. And I think that was the only time we saw it the rest of the game. And they went back to the kind of softer zone. That's just teams are piling up completions on that zone.
I wonder too, because the defensive backs, they had a rough game. I kind of felt like I liked the front 7 a little bit more in this game, but was that just because of the games that Jake Golday and Jack Dingle had to kind of cover up? Because there were definitely some plays where they didn't get a lot of pressure on Jalen Daniels, but at the same time, I felt like Jake Golday and Jack Dingle were just everywhere.
Yeah, the thing I am curious about, we didn't see Golday blitz much.
Right.
And that has been kind of a secret weapon of when they've been able to get to quarterback. You've seen Golday blitz. Now, maybe that was just a result of Jalen Daniels is getting it out quick. Don't think we're going to be able to get home to him. So we want Golday in that position you saw him in, where he was just cleaning up everything from that secondary level. So that was maybe a little bit strategic. And, no Dontay Corleone. That changes the defensive line. I thought they played okay. Kansas wasn't really able to run the ball with any efficiency outside of Jalen Daniels scrambles. The designed run stuff for them didn't do much. Without
Williams
Corleone,
was a non-factor. Yeah.
And Daniels didn't do much on design run plays. Where he did damage was on getting out of the pocket. Now, there were penalties on a couple of those plays that the flag didn't get thrown, where it always got thrown on Cincinnati, but I digress. But, I thought the line played fine. I thought Micah Coleman had a good game. The two guys, Kamari Burns and Isaiah Rodgers, that filled in for Corleone were solid. I didn't notice them getting kind of bullied around the field. So the front seven was okay. The secondary, there's a lot, both scheme and execution. There's still a lot there to clean up on the back end.
And the fun thing is, they've got a heck of a quarterback coming in next week. And with Iowa State on their way to Clifton, we'll give you an early look at how the Bearcats can tame the Cyclones. One of the tools that help make a huge difference for business owners is Quo, formerly known as OpenPhone. It's the same great business phone system you've heard me talk about before, just with the new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed call is money left on the table. When every customer conversation counts, you need a phone system that keeps you connected 24/7. Quo is the #1 business phone system that streamlines customer communications. It works right through an app on your phone or computer, so no more carrying 2 phones or relying on a landline. Their built-in AI agent is a game changer. It can answer after-hour calls, capture leads, and keep business moving even when you're off the clock. See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly OpenPhone. Get started free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedoncollege. That's QUO.com/lockedoncollege. And if you've got existing numbers with another service, Quo will port them over at no extra charge. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. And there's still time to get in on this awesome introductory offer over at FanDuel. If you're creating a new account and you place a $5 bet that wins, you get $300 in bonus bets. That's literally like double what it normally is. And I'm actually looking at a future today because I'm curious. With Cincinnati beating Kansas, how did the line move for them winning the conference? Moved up just a little bit. Odds on UC to win the Big 12 are plus 1,600. The favorite to win the Big 12 is Texas Tech. Then it's Arizona State at plus 440, Texas Tech at plus 180. So you go all the way down to plus 1,600 for the Bearcats. Hey, I'd sprinkle a little bit on that. And then check out what the Reds got going on in the wild card against the Dodgers. That's all over on FanDuel. You can literally make every season more with FanDuel, and you've got an awesome opportunity to get $300 in bonus bets with your brand new profile. So check out FanDuel today. Download that app and get in on the action on FanDuel. I encourage you to keep the conversation going with Chad and myself on Twitter and TikTok and all the wonderful things. You can follow me at Twitter and at TikTok, and I'm getting them all mixed up as I'm saying them, but at Jeff Carr with 3 Fs. And then you can follow me on Instagram. Just flip my username, CARRJEFFF. You can also follow Chad at Chad Brendel on TikTok. If we're mad at Iowa State, you tweet at Chad. You always know that.
Yeah, I'm mad. Tweet at Chad.
Rocco Becht is coming into town here, Chad, and I know that he had some Heisman looks. I don't know where he is in that ranking right now. I think he fell out, but he's still pretty good. And I think that he's different from Jalen Daniels. I don't think there's going to be a ton of explosive plays, but he's going to be more than happy to take those 7 yards if they are going to continue to give him that cushion this week on defense. And then, on the flip side on offense, like, can we keep this up? Can there be consistency with Brendan Sorsby in the passing game and the balance look? Like, when you go into this week, is it the offense or the defense that has the most pressure?
So Rocco Becht is good. He's a very good college quarterback. He is on the, he's a game manager.
Mm-hmm.
people take that as a negative, and it can be if you're not really helping your team win games. Rocco Becht helps his team win games, but he's just really smart. He's really efficient. And here's the thing with Iowa State. Well, he knows I've got an advantage here. I'm going here. Not even necessarily checks, because they will lull you to sleep and throw the ball down the field. Like they throw it down the field more than you realize until you're playing them, because they'll run they'll have 4 run plays and 3 short pass plays. And all of a sudden those safeties start getting a step closer and a step closer. And then boom, he'll hit a go route, or he'll hit a deep corner or a post, and they'll hit you for 40, 45 yards. So he is a game manager, but he's on the higher end of the game manager scale, where he's not. This is the thing about Iowa State. They do not beat themselves. They do not beat themselves. And Rocco Becht is the epitome of that. He's not going to make the big mistake. He is not going to put his team in a disadvantageous situation. So if you're going to beat Iowa State, you have to beat them. You have to play error-free football. You have to play clean. You have to beat a really good defense. And you got to beat an offense that knows how to do what they do at a high level. They're not going to score 40 points. They're not going to be the most explosive team on the planet. But they will beat you 28-24 every week and not apologize for it once.
I know that in the Locked On Big 12 Power Rankings that Drake told, and our Locked On Big 12 host, which, by the way, check him out after this show's over. I know that they had Iowa State number 2 in the conference. Texas Tech 1, Iowa State number 2. And so he has UC number 7. So definitely a jump up if UC is able to beat Iowa State this weekend. But we got a sold-out crowd, stripe and nipper. That's going to look awesome, at least on television and all that great stuff. And the atmosphere is going to be electric. We already know that. So with all of that being said, and a little bit more of a critical eye still on the offensive side of things, I am wondering a little bit about how Brendan Sorsby will continue his consistency this week. And then on top of that, knowing that there's going to be a question about Joe Royer this week, right? Like, I mean, what was the official designation of him after the game? And is he going to play against Iowa State?
I mean, there wasn't an official designation for him after the game. You probably won't. I mean, we'll ask Scott Satterfield
a lot. Yeah.
I mean, if you saw his head bounced off the turf, he went up, caught the ball, got undercut, and it was the typical, looks like a concussion, but we don't have any confirmation. We'll ask Satterfield tomorrow or Tuesday. I think this runs on Tuesday at the weekly press conference. So we'll get a little bit better of an answer there. But I mean, it didn't seem terrible. It seemed, bad, but once you get into the protocol, it's just a matter of how long do the bells keep ringing in your ears? How long are you sensitive to light? How long do you have the headaches? So that'll be something that we'll have to follow throughout the week. But kudos to Gavin Grover.
Yeah.
For stepping in and making some plays.
I thought he scored on that one. It was so close, but I knew that the way they were officiating it, I don't know they were going to overturn it.
I just don't know how you don't get a replay on it. How did they not take a detailed look at a guy? Well, that's in college. There's really they do it all internally.
Right.
And at that point in time, you definitely don't want to cost yourself a timeout if you didn't, because you had already used one that I think was malpractice by the officiating.
Not resetting the play clock there when they had to pull Allen off, right? Because his helmet came off. Like, what the heck? So I don't think you could have used it there, but I did think he got in. And if not, it was incredibly close. And they spotted the ball at like the 2.5 yard line. It should have been like that. Like the half-inch line. Yeah. If anything.
But we'll see on Joe. Hopefully he's all right, because even though he hasn't been putting up big numbers, he has been a big part in why other guys are open. because
Right.
teams are bracketing Joe Royer. Guy under, guy over. Sorsby's doing a great job finding the open man. So he's not forcing it to Royer, but because of Royer, there are other guys that are making plays because he's occupying two defenders, and Sorsby's doing a really good job there.
Without,
Here's the concern.
Mhm.
10 for 18, 66 yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. You know what that is?
Nebraska.
No. Unfortunately, no. That is
Last year
Iowa
against
State
Iowa?
last year.
The 60 got me. Yeah,
Well,
that
it's the second time it's happened.
and without Royer, I do kind of wonder how much Cyrus Allen can shine in this, because he shined against Nebraska. I mean, we hadn't mentioned him yet, which is a little bit, bully for
11
us. But
catches,
heck
128
of a game.
yards. Yeah.
2 score, like he was going off, and I wonder, against this Iowa State defense without Joe Royer, can he do that again?
Probably not. I mean, they are gonna, if you don't have Royer
They'll
out
key
there,
on him.
they're definitely going to key on Cyrus Allen. He's a little bit harder to game plan from the slot than from the outside, but we'll see. I mean, it's going to be important to get those guys open. Got the hiccups from that drink of water. Ill-advised drink of water, Jeff.
But, right. Well, and the one other thing too, in closing out with this, because I know that we'll talk a lot about this all through the week as far as like his health and where he is. But even if Dontay Corleone is healthy, do you expect him to have a low snap count against Iowa State?
It'll definitely be managed. It'll, I don't think you're probably not going to see him up near 50 snaps all season. He was at 40, 45 against Nebraska. I think that's probably the sweet spot. Tiger's very excited about getting Dontay Corleone back.
Huge.
Yeah. Tiger, I know, buddy. I know it's going to be big. So if you can get him 25, 30 snaps, that is a huge plus against an Iowa State team that's much more power than Kansas. Kansas is eye candy. It's
Right.
trickery, right? Iowa State is, here we are.
Stop it. Yeah.
Stop us. We dare you to stop us.
That's gonna be key. If they can get him back even just for 30 or 40 snaps, that's gonna be key for this defense in taking that step forward. Chad, I appreciate you for joining me yet again this week, and thanks again for making Locked On Bearcats part of your day. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button, click the like button, click the put a comment down in the comments section. All those things will help grow this community for Bearcats fans to find more easily. And now make sure you check out the college football kickoff show. It's over on the Fire TV app. Fire TV exclusively broadcasting this. Drake Toll from Locked On Big 12, Gary Patterson, 2-time Coach of the Year, and Jesse Hawley all join our massive list of local Locked On hosts to preview every week of football. It comes out on Thursdays on that Fire TV app. Make sure you check that out. But thanks again for watching today's show, and I will see you all tomorrow.